What is going on, everybody? It is Brent Abel here at goldballhunting.com. That dude over there, I think he's there, at least according to where I'm recording, he's over there, but he could be over here too.
Could be there,
The
or I
great
could be
Jacklich
there.
with it looks like the beautiful wood panel behind him. Who knows where he is today? I'll bet he's somewhere in the Western Hemisphere. Now, would that be Northern Hemisphere? Northern Hemisphere.
The Northern Western Hemisphere, yes?
Oh,
I
the
don't know.
Northwestern
Is that a
Hemisphere.
place?
Outstanding.
Is that a place?
Yes. Hey, guys, today we're going to talk about the 5 pillars, foundation for becoming a really good tournament player. And the 5th one, Jeff doesn't even really know what the 5th one is. Well, he knows what it is, but he doesn't know. Anyway, hang in there so that everybody understands what the foundation is to become a great tournament player.
So the big question is this: how are tennis players like us who never played on the tour, weren't incredible juniors, or maybe got a late start to the game, how do we consistently compete at our highest skill level without having to grind through endless hours of on-court practice time and still be in the hunt for the victory match after match? That is the question, and Gold Ball Hunting gives you the answers by helping you eliminate your skill level range so that you build a strong foundation of confidence. My name is Jeff Jacklich, and along with Brent Abel, my partner, welcome to Gold Ball Hunting.
All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with us today in another episode of the Gold Ball Hunting Podcast. Jeffrey, Modesto, California, is that right?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, Motown.
Romy, no, man. You can't be doing that. No, go on. Well, don't bite me. Okay.
Don't be chewing on the wires. Don't be chewing on the wires.
Well, it's not the wires. It's the wicker basket that's holding the phony, palm tree indoors. And boy, that
nothing so.
It just looks real chewable.
Romy, no, give me the remote back. No, those have the launch codes. No, Romy, come back.
That's right. Oh, well, everyone better get under your desk right now because
duck and cover.
Yeah.
Duck and cover.
Anyway, so Romy is my oldest daughter Georgie's dog and her guy Tanner, and they're actually up there climbing Mount San Jacinto today. They're going to the very top. The tram doesn't even go to the top. So anyway, they left at 3:30 this morning. I've got Romy duty today. Make sure he stays out of trouble. Yeah, and I'm more concerned with the wires, I guess, than I am with the wicker basket. So anyway, we'll see. I just hope he survives before they get back. Anyway, guys, look, today I want to talk to you about what I think are the 5 pillars of becoming a good tournament player. And Jeff, you and I talked about this a lot last week when we were over at the 60 and the 75 grass courts here at the Mission Hills Country Club in Rancho Mirage. And you and I have always talked about 4 things, right? Well, if you want to get on a free private coaching call with us, absolutely. We want to invite you to do that. It's free, it's private, 10, 12, 15 minutes, whatever we need, to help you kind of figure out what's that one thing in your game that if you were to really sort of zero in on that one thing and just attack it for, the next 30, 45, 60 days, it could make a huge difference in who you are as a player. And, the other thing we talked about last week a lot was that the real what do you got? He's hacking up something. I don't know. All right, it's okay. Yeah. But the 4 things are technique. And we really kind of think that it's really about less technique. As you watch the Mark Vines who won the 60 grass and you watch the Jimmy Parker who won the 75 grass, those guys are so super efficient technique wise. It's like I'm sorry.
What do you cough up now? You've been looking for your car keys and now you found them, right? You just coughed those up.
I don't know what it is. Anyway, he's got something. But the first thing is less technique, right? So all the stuff we see online right now is, well, let's really go with more technique because more technique will actually help you play better. No, it won't. It won't do that. It'll actually make you play worse because you just cannot ever be consistent. So it's really about less technique is kind of pillar number one. Pillar number two is tactics and strategy. What are you doing that actually gives that opponent over there kind of a juicy opportunity, right? You may be stroke technique may be okay, but you may be aiming for the wrong target and actually setting this guy up.
Right.
Third thing is mental, right? Third thing is mental. Romy, take a pill, all right? Just go on the couch.
Which you're being challenged. You're being challenged right now mentally, right?
Yeah, mentally, god dang it.
Emotionally.
Yeah. Okay.
Take a breath, right?
Every time I do that, he goes, what? So third thing is mental. The best players just absolutely know how to handle themselves mentally out there. Fourth thing is physical. Obviously, you got to be in great shape, right? If you're going to play a tournament, you're going to do well. You're going to be in the hunt for some kind of a ball, whether it's gold, silver, or bronze. It's going to take a few days to get the opportunity to be in the hunt for a ball. And I think Jeff, the fifth thing is the fifth dimension, kind of a great group back in the 70s, 60s. I don't know, whatever.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. But the fifth thing is experience, meaning that you've got to put yourself out there. We talked a lot about this last week. You've got to put yourself out there in the tournaments. And if you have never done that, you're gonna probably suck for a while, right? I mean, I think of Mike Stewart, the great Mike Stewart, who just won the 75 World Doubles. I mean, he didn't really get started playing tennis till about 60. I think he dabbled when he was in high school and stuff like that. Maybe
right.
a little bit of college stuff, but it wasn't really, he really didn't play tennis, didn't get serious. About 60, he said, man, I just completely sucked for about 5 years. And then when he turned 65, he started winning his first of, I don't know, he's probably up to 24 gold balls at this point, and he's got 2
right.
doubles titles. And you look at this guy, and it's the same kind of thing. Well, what's the deal with Mike Stewart? Well, what's the deal with Jimmy Parker? Well, I'm sorry. The deal is they have those 5 things. And the fifth thing is that, and you and I know way too many players who actually hit the ball cleaner than a whistle, understand the game, are in unbelievable condition. Mentally, maybe, I don't know, maybe not quite 100% of the mental side. But the mental part and the experience, right, are so related that you probably don't figure out any of this stuff until you actually put yourself out there for pillar number 5, which is the experience. So what's your 2 cents on that? I mean, in terms of those 5 things, I think we ought to be talking a lot more about the fifth dimension, right? Which is playing, entering the tournaments, going online, putting in your credit card, just taking your lumps for a while.
Get in the car, drive on down to the tournament, get out there, play. It's a beautiful day. It's a cruddy day. It's a windy day. It's a cold day. It's an ultra hot day. It is whatever the tennis gods of the day bestow upon you, and you got to deal with it.
Yeah.
That's just the name of the game. And so the experience, this fifth dimension, the experience part of this is it's very difficult to identify, and I would say almost impossible to have clarity about not only what to do against your opponent, but individually, which is the most important, is what aspects of my game do I do well, and what aspects of my game do I do poorly? What aspects of my game are somewhere in the middle? And then how do I take that whole package and look at it and kind of go, some of these things I do poorly, I don't even need. I can actually just take them off my plate. There's maybe 1 or 2 items in that category that I need to clean up. And I'm not talking specifically to, it's not always stroke technique. It's not always something about your stroke. I've got a couple players right now that we need to clean up their split step because it's messy and it's not timed very well. And as we do that, the stroke then, the ability to hit the first volley and be focused on what's happening and be clear about watching the ball the whole time, those things then can fall into place at that point. So it could be that. It could be poor recovery after a shot. A lot of players in transition that are trying to move up that next level, when they see themselves on video, when they mail, they send us some video of 4 games or 5 games or 6 games that they've played, and you and I are looking at it going, well, this is what you and I call it kind of one and done, meaning every shot they hit is its own little package. It's hit, then the person becomes a spectator. Let's see what that did. Okay, let's see what I get back, and now I'm going to make a new choice as to what to do. And meanwhile, the match is just slipping away. It's just going somewhere else because there's no way to play the game in that bubble that way because it's just happening too fast. So sometimes, the detail is poor recovery, poor prep, because those two things really go hand in hand. If I have poor recovery, my prep is going to be poor, period. That's just the way that works. So I just want to be clear that it's not always this stroke, some sort of technical thing. And then you look at those things that you kind of do okay. And how do we make those? How do we tweak those? Or maybe we don't tweak them. Maybe we just need to put in a little more time actually doing the reps, a couple times a week. Let's spend an isolated 10, 15 minutes, even on the ball machine, just carving some volleys into the open court, just methodically. It's not a workout. It's not a training session. It's just, I just need to clean this up and get a better feel on it, right? Whatever that might be. And then those things that you do well, my personal take on the things that you do well, and usually it's going to fall into the category of 2 to 3 things. Even for you, Brenny, even for me, there's usually 2 to 3 things that each player does well. And I say go all in on those things. And again, each time you do that, more clarity, more clarity, more clarity. And that clarity gives confidence, confidence, confidence. And then, the experience in those matches, then all of a sudden, the tipping point is, you beat somebody that, you've lost to the last 2 tournaments, not badly, but close. And then you get over the hump, and the clarity is you played that match and you realize you did some things differently. You made some new choices that match. You handled the pressure differently at the end of the match. You actually remain calm, and all these little factors are available for you to experience once you start to clean things up a little bit.
Well, so that's a really good point. I mean, one thing, it's one thing to go out there and drill or go in the ball machine or have some pro feed you balls. And you can, for an hour, you can look like $1 million. But once it gets down to, you've won the first set and you're up a break 4-2 in the second. If I think what most players who are not experienced, who don't have the 5th dimension in terms of playing a ton of tournaments, all of a sudden they become a different human. And you can't get that. You can't get the clarity that you need mentally up a set in 4-2 in a match against a guy you've never beaten before, in practice, let's say. Right. And because you just can't get the clarity that you need to be able to focus in the moment. What's the most important thing that I do right now? And you can't get the clarity unless you've been playing some tournaments. Right. You just can't do it. I'm sorry. There's no pro out there that can go, oh, by the way, here's the magic pill. Just take this before your match and you're going to have clarity the whole time. Oh, by the way,
I have this special racket that waves fairy dust over you.
Yeah.
And,
there's just no way. I mean, someone can even, your pro can give you a little handwritten list of stuff. Keep this in your bag and pull it out every time you're doing a side change. Okay, that's great. But until you experience it yourself and you figure it out yourself, you're never going to get the clarity that you need simply by drilling more, simply by layering more and more technique, simply by thinking, well, at this point I should be serving and volleying. Just to be sure the point.
I think a big factor in this too, that the player has to be open to the observation factor in this whole deal. You have to be when you hit those moments of, I'm going to make a new choice, the only way you can make a new choice is if you're observing yourself take the same road you've always taken. So there is a factor to this that you mentally have to be open to, oh, here come those feelings again. I'm starting to feel stressed again. But instead of the raging against it and then fighting it, I better just hit an ace right now. It's, oh, wait a minute. Okay, this is the feeling that happens before I've always made this decision. You have to be. It's like clarity in that one little moment can help you get clarity in that moment of fog, because now you're observing it. I know this sounds kind of crazy, but when you observe yourself in that moment, you can now make a new choice. Until you become the observer of yourself, you can't make a new choice. So it's a, not to get all woo on everybody, but listen, that it's a moment. Brenny, I know you experience it. I experience it when I'm in it, and I kind of go, wow, wait a second. Okay, the feeling is okay to have. It's okay to feel nervous. It's okay to feel tight. It's okay to have all those things, because everybody does, from Federer on down. We've seen it. We've all watched it happen. Players do it. But it's now time to make a new choice in the direction you're going to go once you experience that emotion, that feeling, whatever it is. So I just want to, it's okay to feel it. It's just now we're going to be the momentary observer and make a new choice and make a new plan. Now, the new choice may not be the perfect choice, but now we're at least mentally open to making new choices when I hit that moment again. And that's how we find our way out of that forest. So anyway.
Yeah. And I think at least for me, I know exactly what you're talking about. And, in the early part of my tournament career, I made some lousy choices, right? So I knew I was in the moment. I go, oh, okay, well, I better do this.
Get in line, dude.
Yeah. So, and as we've been talking about actually for a couple of weeks, as you get more experience, because you've been putting yourself out there in the tournaments, you start to play less stupid. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Right. It's not about, oh, well, I'm going to be the smartest guy in the history of the world right here and do this thing. No, you're just going to make less stupid decisions, which in the end are going to help you win a lot more matches. I better put Romy outside. I think I'm getting a sense that he's getting a little antsy.
Is he starting to cross his legs?
He's going to go, I've been drinking a lot of water.
Yeah, don't want the nervous pedal.
Don't want that. So, all right, listen, guys, just a quick reminder, free private coaching call. Just go over to goalballhunting.com, drop in your first name and email address, click the button there, and you get access to our online calendar scheduler where you get to cherry pick a date and time that works best for your schedule. The other thing you're going to get, if you're not already on our email list, is when you sign up at goalballhunting.com, you're getting a free, but it's a private video that Jeff and I recorded, months ago, like back in January. And it's going to help you understand the principles and the how for reducing your skill level range. And every time I mention skill level range to anybody, you could talk to the greatest player of the world. Huh? They go, yeah, man, skill level range. It's kind of like the dog, right? Well, so it's kind of like, one set you play pretty well. Yeah. And the next set, man, not so great. So, and they go, oh, yes, I've experienced that one. Yeah, that one that I'm scared about all the time. So,
right.
Jeff and I want to help you reduce that range, right? We want to help you bring the bottom up to the top so that when you go out there and play every day, you have some confidence, pretty close to where you're going to be playing every day and even in a match, which is really an important thing, to not have big major swings, skill level range wise in your match. Because that's just a confidence. That's just, goalballhunting.com, and that's where you can find it.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, what would we like to find folks to do right now?
Well, too, and anybody that needs pet behavior modification, feel free to contact Brent today, because he's going to be involved in that.
Stop it.
Like us, share us, please subscribe. Let us know what you think down below. iTunes and Stitcher, rate and review, goalballhunting.com. spread the word.
Outstanding. Guys, get out there today. Help another pet have a spectacular day. Jeff will do this again tomorrow. Hi, Romy. Okay, yeah.
I can't wait. Bye, Romy.